Hi everyone. So today let's learn about fetal circulation. This is a very important topic. The placenta actually serves as the fetus lifeline. It actually provides oxygen, provides nutrition, and also eliminates waste. So in this presentation, we'll learn about the unique circulatory system of the fetus. It is unique because it is different from us. Okay, so before we learn about the fetal circulation in detail, we first have to be very familiar with the temporary structures. These are the temporary structures: ductus venosus, foramen oval, ductus arteriosus, and the hypogastric arteries. These are called temporary structure because once the baby is delivered or baby is born, the fetal circulation completely changes. All this structure, what happens? It shut down or it closes. Okay, so first let's learn ductus venosus. Ductus venosus is nothing but it's a connection between the umbilical vein to the vena cava. Okay, so inferior vena cava. Okay, the other one is the foramen oval. Foramen oval is the connection between the right atrium to the left atrium. Okay, once the oxygenated blood reaches to the right atrium, it directly passes to the left atrium. So the connection or the passage from where this blood is right from the blood travels from the right atrium to the left atrium is the foramen oval. Okay, now another is the ductus arteriosus, is the connection from the pulmonary artery to the aorta. Here, this connection. Okay, this is the ductus arteriosus. The other one is a hypogastric arteries. It is these two arteries. Okay, and these two arteries actually branches out from the internal iliac arteries. Okay. Okay, so now let's learn about the fetal circulation first, and let's understand the how oxygenated blood circulates in the fetal body. Okay, so first one thing you need to remember in fetus, the oxygenated blood is carried by vein, whereas deoxygenated blood is carried by artery. Okay, so the oxygenated blood enters through the umbilical vein. Okay, and this vein later splits into two branches. So one joins the portal vein here, while the other connects to the ductus venosus. Okay, here. Okay, and which continues into the this inferior vena cava. Okay, from here the oxygenated blood reaches to the right atrium and then passes through the foramen oval into the left atrium. Okay, here, understand, here it mixes slightly with the blood coming from the lungs. Okay, and then next it flows into the left ventricles. Here it gets pumped into the aorta and then fully supplies to the head and the upper extremities. Okay, here from here it supplies to the head and upper limbs. Okay. Okay, so now let's learn about the deoxygenated blood circulation. Okay, what happens? The deoxygenated blood from the head and the upper extremities returns to the superior vena cava into the right atrium. Okay, so since the foramen oval, what happens? Mainly shuns the oxygenated blood across this blood, deoxygenated blood, what happens? It stays in the right atrium and passes into the right ventricle. So from here it pumps into the pulmonary artery. So because the fetal lungs aren't functioning well, so most of this blood bypasses the lungs through the ductus arteriosus, and where it goes, it gets connected into the descending aorta. Okay, so now the blood flows down to supply the lower body. After circulation, what happens? The deoxygenated blood enters into this is the iliac, internal iliac arteries, and then into hypogastric arteries, and then uh, um, and then these umbilical arteries then carries the blood back into the placenta. Okay, so where it gets reoxygenated. Okay, so now lastly, let's summarize the fetal circulation. First, the placenta, make sure that you write about the role of the placenta. It actually carries the oxygenated blood, provides nutrients, and removes waste. So, first, the umbilical vein actually carries the oxygenated blood from the placenta to the fetus, and the oxygenated blood reaches to the inferior vena cava through ductus venosus. Okay, and then after that, once the oxygenated blood enters the heart, which is the right atrium, it directly passes to the mm, left atrium, which is via a foramen oval. Okay, and after that it enters to the aorta and then circulates, and the oxygenated blood is circulated to the head and the upper extremities. And after that, the deoxygenated blood is carried, um, it travels from the superior vena cava to the right atrium, and then it moves to the left atrium, and it is then pumped by the pumped out from the pulmonary artery to the descending aorta via ductus arteriosus. And here what happens, it actually circulates to the lower extremities. After that, the umbilical arteries carries the deoxygenated blood from the fetus back to the placenta. Thank you. I hope this presentation has provided a comprehensive understanding of fetal circulation. If you like this video, please do share with your friends, subscribe and like.